Hey guys, so it's time for another My 5, and this is a monthly series where I talk about a green product I like, a brand or company that I think is doing something really good, a book or documentary that I recommend, something new I've learned, and a blog or YouTube channel that I follow. So let's jump right in. So my product for this month is a glass water bottle, and this is by a company called Soul Bottles, which is a German company. They're based out of Berlin. And I've been looking for a glass water bottle for a really long time. I have had plastic water bottles before, which obviously aren't the greatest. And I've also had metal water bottles, which I liked, but I always found that they were kind of difficult to clean on the inside. So I really wanted a glass bottle, except all of the ones that I found had really small necks, which also made them difficult to clean. But I was really excited to discover this company because not only do they have bottles with wide necks, but they also have these little pop tops, which make it really easy so you don't lose the lid and you don't have to unscrew it or anything like that. And it has this nice little handle for carrying. Plus, all of their bottles have really cool art and designs on them. And of course, having a reusable water bottle is much more environmentally friendly than buying water or buying other drinks in plastic bottles or bottles that need to be recycled. So yeah, I really like this. The only thing is that it definitely is heavier than a plastic or the metal bottles. But I don't really mind. I usually have it in my backpack, or if I'm carrying it, I just use this little handle. And I use it all the time, and I always have it with me or next to me. Like every time I film a video, I have it right here because you get really thirsty talking a lot. The company I want to talk about this month is not a fashion brand, but it's a website that reviews brands based on their ethical and sustainable policies. It's called Project Just, and I will of course include links to everything I talk about below. And I get so many questions about different brands and different companies and what I think of them and which companies are better to shop at and how to just make more informed choices without having to wade through piles and piles of information and websites and contacting people, because it can take a lot of time to really research some of these companies. And if you ask them questions, you might not get replies, or you might get really vague replies that aren't helpful at all. So Project Just has a bunch of common brands, and they go through all of the available information on these brands, any kinds of reports and audits that are publicly available, and they compile an overview of the company and also a little summary and review based on what they found, whether they think the company has good transparency or good ethical policies or not good transparency, or maybe there's issues around their sustainability, and they lay that out in a really easy to quickly reference way. And they haven't been around that long, so they're going to continue to grow and add brands. So I was really excited to find out about this website. I definitely think we need more resources like this that break down information and just make it easier as a consumer to make informed and responsible decisions. Next is a show documentary program that I've talked about before in other videos, and it's called Sweatshop Deadly Fashion, and I highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it already. It follows these three people who go from their fast fashion consumer lives to Cambodia to learn more about how clothes are made. And you see it through the eyes of people who basically came from thinking that working in a factory isn't so bad, and I'm sure they're just happy to have jobs, to really seeing how difficult and challenging it can be. And it's a very emotional and kind of eye-opening perspective into garment manufacturing. I always love seeing documentaries that provide a very personal story. It just makes it so much more real than hearing these general concepts. And it's free to watch, which is awesome, and I will include links below if you want to check it out. So the thing I learned this month is maybe something that's really obvious to a lot of people, I don't know, but I just recently learned that paper cups are not recyclable. I don't know why I never really thought this through before, but I just always in my head had the idea that it's made of paper, so it's recyclable, it can go in paper recycling. But it's not true, because paper cups have a plastic lining. Of course, otherwise the liquid would just soak right into the paper and it wouldn't be usable. So unless the paper cup has some sort of special plastic lining that biodegrades, they're just not recyclable. Now, I do try to avoid paper cups anyways. If I can, I try to bring some sort of reusable container, but I always thought that it wasn't so bad to get a paper cup, especially over the other alternatives of plastic cups, and of course styrofoam was terrible. So yeah, it was kind of surprising to realize that the only way to recycle a paper cup is if you physically separate the thin plastic lining from the paper cup, which seems incredibly difficult to do. And it's just interesting because paper cups are often really promoted as being an environmentally friendly option. And of course they are compared to a fully plastic cup, but they're not really in terms of recyclability. But yeah, it's just something new I learned and something I'm going to be a lot more mindful of. And finally, the person and blog I want to share with you is Anushka, and she writes one of my favorite capsule wardrobe blogs, which is Into Mind. And it's just got a ton of really great information about building your capsule wardrobe, finding your personal style. She talks about minimalism and shopping and also ethical and sustainable fashion, which is awesome. And I just really like her perspective and insight into things. And it's definitely been a huge inspiration and really great resource for me with putting together my capsule wardrobes and when I was learning more about capsule wardrobes. And she's taken a bit of a break for a while, but she's back to blogging, which I'm really excited about. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear in the comments about something that excited or inspired you or that you learned last month. And if you're not yet subscribed, you can hit that subscribe button for more videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.